Hello and welcome to ARK, the complete series. Well, the plan today is to, well, for one thing I need to avoid Pegomastax, so I'm going to get my Mutagel out of the way. Those things are annoying. The amount of things I keep getting stolen by them is driving me up the wall, so yeah, you can have some meat if it manages to steal anything. But no, the plan though is to tame Tek Stryder, because I really need one. I need better resource gathering and so on. And that one looks ideal. I mean, it's... These Tek Stryders, they've got a certain tool and they've got a certain rig. Now, I think that one's the exact one I'm looking for. So that looks like a resource gathering tool that it's got. And then we've got a backpack there, which should give us weight reduction as far as I can tell. And what's even better is it's level 145. So I'm thinking, yay, this is the type of Tek Stryder we need in our lives to make it easier. So, oh, that's an otter. I'm starting to panic there. So, go up to the Tek Stryder and think, yeah, let's tame a Tek Stryder. And it says you need 47 missions, and I've only done 12. So it's like, no, not more missions. Anything but more missions. I don't want to do more missions. I've had enough with missions. I mean, I've been trying various ones. I mean, let's see where we've got up to so far. I'm still struggling with these things like Bulldog Fetch, Maywing Poach. Paris Roundup wasn't so bad. But these ones where you've got to go out, you've got to knock out, you know, so many of these creatures, and then you've got to trap them. The bulldogs, I'll have to try that one again. I just kept running out of time trying to get that. And the Maywings, geez Louise, they just keep running away. And I've been trying other strategies to try and, well, basically keep them closer by, because there's times I've chased after them, they just suddenly just disappear, and then it's like miles to go to get back to the rest of them, and then yeah, so you run out of time. So yeah, even at gamma level I'm struggling. So I've been trying other ones. I mean, some of them not too bad, where I've been able to at least do it up to beat, and that's a trouble. You've got all these different missions to do, and you need to do a lot to be able to tame these Tek Stryders. Doesn't really matter which ones, I suppose, but that's a long list that's like seriously doing my head in. So I'm gonna have to go and look for, well, basically lower level ones. I did find a one, for example. I mean, I think that was saying I've done 12 missions so far, and I did find I think it's like a level 15, and I started taming that one, but it just kept going round. Once I started, the trouble was it just kept going round and round in a circle, because what you've got to do is basically you start the process, you've got to hack them. It's a bit fiddly when I tried it first time to line up the dots, so to speak, but then it just kept going round and around and around in the same circle, and that's the trouble. That you can't trap them in a place, for example. You can't lure them into a trap and then start the process. They've always got to be a certain distance away from the last place they were. And that, I don't know what the devs were thinking of, but that's just crazy. I mean, there's one that I found which is it's just stuck facing a wall, and it's just showing no signs of interest or enthusiasm for going anywhere. It's like it's so far down the cliff in the river. And then, as I say, this other one, it was just, I don't know, it kept always going back to the same place for some strange reason. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting mechanic adding that in to kind of like force you to well, yeah, so it forces you to try and tame it without an actual trap, but the point is, it's like, yeah. So that's a level 20, so I could probably tame that one. But it doesn't, the trouble is, it doesn't have any of the sort of gear that I need. You know, what has that got? Yeah, so I just need the Mutagel. But it doesn't have a type of tool that I want, and it doesn't have the type of rig that I want. So you've got supposedly 4 types of tools and 4 types of rigs. So I think at this stage I just want to tame one. So I'm gonna have to go out and search for a low level one out there somewhere that has at least got one, because the way I'm thinking is if I can get one of each, I can get the other one to just tag along. So if I can get one that gathers the resources, then it can the other one can just tag along. And then at some point, if I can find the enthusiasm and motivation to do more of these missions, well, then I'll try the higher level ones. But obviously I need a tame one just to get into the practice of it. So yeah, so me and Ozzy are going to be doing some searching. I mean, interesting enough, you can actually find them. So they do show up. So there's 2 of them over there. I mean, seriously, trying to tame either of those 2 would be an absolute nightmare. Just because of the fact that they're just stuck somewhere. I mean, you could force them off, I suppose. Well, that's level 95, so there's no way I can tame them. So that's a level 20, but again, it's not showing any signs of the sort of gear that I need. So yeah, so I think me and Ozzy are gonna go for a wander. Again, I mean, I'm seriously tempted to take advantage of the S+ Tek transmitters, because then I can just save time on the searching, because they're all over the place, these things. It could be anywhere. So I might be inclined to just spend the time gathering the resources, which ironically is the reason why I want these Tek Stryders in the first place, to make that whole process easier. But if I can get enough of these Tek transmitters, you can put them together. As long as you've got enough, you can at least find out, you know, where certain types of dinos are, what sort of levels they are. You can get all sorts of interesting information the more of them you have. But that's pretty much unique to S+. In a vanilla server, yeah, you can just have to spend time looking around and trying to find a Tek Stryder. So yeah, now that I think about it, I think it's Tek transmitter time. Now, I managed to get myself a scanner, at least a basic scanning system set up, so I know where to find these Tek Stryders. I mean, if I open up this Omni tool, I've got it set to do scanning. Get it to search for the Stryders, for example. I mean, that one didn't seem of any interest. Another one I found, it was literally stuck in some sort of ravine, so I sent it off to my cousin's farm, shall we say. Now, this one here I found. This is actually one I tried to actually hack before. You can see, because it's got like little flashing light going off, because that's where it needs to be hacked, is in that hip up there. The trouble was, this is the one that kept getting stuck. It kept walking over to here, then it was walking over to there, then it was walking to here, then it was walking back to there. So yeah, and that's a really big problem. If they don't move around, it causes just a heap of trouble, because like, even if you can hack into it, you've got to, you know, the next time you try, you've got to wait until it's moved somewhere else. So let's see, where have you got anything on you? Right, I'll take these off you, pop you into a cryopod, and I'll try again with that one over there, because it doesn't have the actual harvesting tools, but I think it's got the actual bag at least. So I'm going to get my Mutagel, my Mutagel, put that into that. I just hope I don't get any pegos coming hassle me. I mean, I've got plenty of this stuff in storage, but... So this is a level 15, it's got no problems. It needs... Let's see, so... Jump up onto this one. If I can. I mean, the affinity... It's obviously Murphy's Law. It's decided to move this time round, so that now, because I had hacked it, it's the affinity's gone down. So if we do that, right? So that's okay. So that's aligned up. So I've now got to wait for this thing. Ow! That was interesting. I thought I'd already hacked that. But the trouble is, I've now got to basically wait, and see it's just getting stuck on the rocks. So it's bit frustrating. It's got to go to a certain distance away from where you last tried to hack into it. It's getting longer and longer. At least the number's going up and up because it's going back to the same blooming place. But as far as I can tell, it's at least got the... Yeah, at least it's got the... Looks like it's got the box there to be able to give you weight reduction, which is something... I mean, on a level 15, I don't really expect much out of it anyway, but... I mean, I've got to start somewhere, though. Otherwise I'm just going to go and do tons and tons of missions to get the higher level ones. Oh, hello.
G'day, survivor.
G'day, sport. So... Yeah, I mean... Target the left hip to begin hacking. Right, let's try that again. Attempt to override the protocol. Oh, I didn't get it in time. Well, that was exciting. So you've got to line it up. You've got to be quick in what you do. Obviously. You just got to kind of like hope it's not going to get stuck or wander. Because I say there was one of them, it was just literally stuck in a ravine. There was no way I'd be able to try and hack that. So yeah, so we just basically have to twiddle our thumbs until it goes somewhere else, and then I'll try and figure it out what I need to do next. Because I've got to try and target that hip it's in. At least it makes it a bit easier because you can see it flashing. And you've got to do it in a certain amount of time to get a certain amount of taming. Actually, speaking of which... Oh, there's a wild Pego-Mastak. My Mastaks out there that I was apparently taming. Yeah. Right, target the left hip to begin hacking. Alright, okay, so it's still...
Crew manuals called those roaming mechs Stryders. I understand they were meant as robotic workhorses for cleaning up toxins and harvesting resources. Huh, workhorses? Imagine climbing up on one of those and riding it around.
Alright, okay, so that makes more sense. I thought it was going to be a case of I would have to... Yeah, I mean, I must admit my taming levels are cranked up a bit on this server. But what I was expecting was I would have to hack once, you know, say that leg or something, then I'd have to wait, you know, until there was little columns line up, and then I would, you know, click the left mouse button. And then I was under the impression I would then have to wait to hack it again, but it seems you must have to complete the whole thing. And then depending on your server settings, and depending on you know, the level of the actual Tek Stryder, presumably you've got to keep targeting different body parts. Now, this beastie here is probably going to suck, because it's only level 15. Having said that, 1325 weight is not that bad, so it doesn't have any batteries. I can't remove these, so this one's got a silence cannon. So this is... That's for, as far as I'm aware, that's for suppressing like things like the UT, for example, being able to suppress the roar of the UT of the Rex and so on. Makes more sense like when you're doing it solo to be able to target UTs, for example, if you wanted to tame them. That's interesting. Be interesting on how long it lasts. But I've noticed it's got a certain charge as well. So when you level it, you'll be able to increase that charge capacity, but you need batteries to charge it. So that's interesting. So it's kind of like similar to the so like glow pets that get charged and what have you. Interesting. But then it's got this one here. So this is the resource attractor rig. Oh, okay. So it reduces. So yes, this is. I was right in what I thought. So you've got that essentially that big box there. So that's the kind of rig that I'm looking for. So if I ride this beastie around, and if I do, let's see, so if you left key, no, it's still gathered stuff. So the right key activates its, I can't quite see there. For some reason the icons are off the screen. So yes, the left key does its attack. So it's gathering similar to like a Bronto and what have you, that it can still gather some resources by doing that, which is not bad if I want to collect like berries and whatnot and seeds, so I can still do that. Then the right key does whatever that tool does, so in this case it's sending out the pulse. Now the only thing I'm going to have to try and work out is how the actual tool works, or at least the rig I should say, for mining resources. So at least I've got a Strider, so I've got a bit of an idea of what to do now, of how to tame these species. Now the only trouble is you can't put them in a cryopod, but what you can do is you could upload them. You could upload them to a Tek transmitter. That's one option, and then download them somewhere else. That's one way of getting around. At least you can level them, so we've got health, stamina, charge. I mean, for me, it'd probably be the weight. Keep leveling up its weight, because I think if I can find another one of these that can properly gather resources, you know, like I'm talking about the rocks and minerals and all that sort of stuff that I can get from the asteroids, then I could have maybe like this one carries all the extra stuff and it just follows along. Ooh, this one can just follow along, or at least until I can find a one that can do both, because I need, that's what I like, that one I showed at the start. I think that's the type I really want, one that's better suited for gathering the rocks and what have you, all the things that I need out of the asteroids, but has this bag to be able to then store everything with weight reductions as well. So now I've got to figure out a way to get this thing back to base, which is a heck of a long way. In hindsight, I should have probably built another Tek transmitter and then put it into the Tek transmitter. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a while getting this back to base. It's right over there, isn't it? Right. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Ah, now this is interesting. This makes more sense now, because if I jump on this beastie here, according to this it says Striders equipped with this rig can gather mined resources from mining drills with an attractor beam when activated. So if I jump off this, because I brought it all the way back here where there's a lot of stones, it's following me around at the minute. And if I bring it over to say here, right, what I'm going to do, there's an option. If I have a look and see what its options are, there's this option here, enable resource collection from nearby mining drills. So if I select that, see the charge is starting to go down, so I've only got a certain amount of charge on it. But if I start collecting this lot here with the drill, notice it's saying it so much added and then so much removed. I'm getting attacked by a duck, despite it seems. Go away, you silly duck. Right, I'll disable that. Just jump up on there. Yeah, so I've still got some bits and pieces in my inventory, but there's all this sort of stuff that's been collected from me doing my own mining that have now gone into the actual inventory of this Tek Stryder. So this is a kind of step in the right direction, even though even if I don't have an actual Strider that's got the tool for actually doing the actual resource collection itself. I could still take this out to the asteroid area, and then I could still mine things myself with the mining drill. But this beastie, for example, would be able to then collect them. Now, it's got another option which is actually even better, which is dedicated storage item transfer. The only trouble is it says if you want to link it to nearby storage, it requires a harvester attachment, which I don't have. But there's an option to transfer items, at least 2 or 1. So, might be interesting to see what sort of range that has. But I'll have to take it over to that actual mining area, which means I'm going to have to upload it to the Tek transmitter after I dump all its inventory. See if I can get moving. Oh, just trot on a dodo. and then what I can do is then test this one out. I mean, I do want one that's got a better like resource gathering tool, because I've noticed actually the stuff that it gathers weighs more on. I think it weighs more on it than it does on me. So I'm getting 75. So while I've got the drill out, it weighs 75. So if I put the drill away, it's weighing 300. So I can get it down to 75. Give that to you. So you've got it down to 105. So it's not as good a weight reduction as the mining drill, but it's a step in the right direction. It's the same as the stone. Stone weighs 12.5 on these, 17.5 on these. I think this is at least as I say, a step in the right direction until I can find a lower level one, probably, that can do both at once, or at least. Yeah, I mean, I could, as I say, I could get one that's got the harvesting tool and use this one just to follow along, but yeah, it's different ways of playing this, I suppose. Right, so anyway, I need to get all this stuff back to base, and this thing looks like a reindeer, really, but I'll have to get us over to the asteroid area. Well, fortunately, this base still needs finishing up. It's a case of I uploaded this to the terminal, and then I downloaded it to the transmitter. I uploaded all of its like items first. That took a fair while, but at least I was able to download it to here. So it's not that bad for like getting around on a map. I mean, if you got like one of those Tek skiffs, I think they are. Let's have a look. Yeah. You could transport at short distances like that to get it to a terminal, upload it to the terminal and download it somewhere else. That's one way of getting it about. As I say, you can't put them into cryopods. I mean, I'll try, but pretty sure it says you can't. Nope, it's not interested. Yeah, I know you're looking enthusiastic, but no, it's not practical. But anyway, yeah, downloading it, it landed literally right on top. It was standing right on top. I'm thinking, no, I'll never get it out now. But fortunately, I mean, it's just so huge, it was quite happy to back out. But yeah, it's just as well I hadn't finished the actual base. Next time I'll have to put it somewhere else, I suppose, the Tek transmitter. But anyway, there's one interesting thing I found. We go on top of this beastie here. I mean, it's got a saddle has got it's like a built-in bed, so you've got an option where you can fast travel around on beds, for example, so that's quite useful. You could also go to sleep, so it's kind of like similar to the sleeping pod, the Tek sleeping pod, except you don't get like any passive XP or anything like that, I suppose. It's not that, I mean, it's not too bad, I must admit, if you want to sort of like a portable base, because you can supposedly build on top of this thing. Now, one thing I've found is it's got this actual transmitter. So if I turn the transmitter on, then go to access inventory, I can actually upload. So I could have actually gone out and gathered things in the field, uploaded them to the transmitter directly. I mean, the charge on this beastie, yeah, its charge isn't going down. So you don't actually need it's like a portable transmitter. So that's quite handy now, I must admit. I mean, it doesn't have anything on it. So if I go to, well, let's say I put these narco berries in its inventory. So if you go to here, access inventory. I get them back again, so go to ARK data. Tribute option doesn't, you don't put them in there, you've got to put them in ARK data. We'll transfer them over. Turn that off. And then we'll go over to our transmitter, just like a, you know, like a terminal. And there's my narco berries. So I could have done it that way actually. So instead of having to literally walk all the way back to a terminal to find, you know, to upload all that stuff, I could have just uploaded everything into the inventory directly from the actual Strider itself, I suppose. You'd still need a way to get, you know, get the Strider itself going, I suppose, but that's quite useful if you want to spend a lot of time out in the field gathering resources. One thing I've noticed though is that it doesn't give you an option to upload creatures. That's the only downside. But you could potentially put a dino in a cryopod and then upload it that way. But I think there are warnings that if you put something in a cryopod, especially if you transfer them between maps, you can have problems. So I'm curious. There's no gravity, so you're just going to casually float around. Yeah, so I can go up and down. Actually, I'm just checking. That could be awkward. I'm curious then. So this doesn't have the harvesting tool. So it can't do the sort of like harvesting I want it to. But at least potentially what I could do is I could harvest things with the actual drill. And you know, there's quite a lot I could put into the actual into the Tek Stryder here, assuming there's anything about here that I can harvest, that is. Yeah, so there's a lot of obsidian, there's some metal as well. Now, $64 million question, if I stop and get off, where do you go to? Because the wyvern didn't like it, or the wyvern. It did not like it at all. Rainbow was alright, she would just hover around in mid-air. Yeah, see, you're not so bad. Okay, so... No, I don't want the tech ball. So if we go to... It's got a bit more... Yeah, it's got a bit more charge than it had before because I've put a point into that. So I'm harvesting these rocks here. And they're not, instead of going into my, well, going into my inventory, they'll go straight back out again. Now that one. And I don't need the stone. How far out can I get from it? I mean, the charge isn't, it's not doing too bad actually. I mean, it is dropping quite a bit, but not much. I mean, I'm harvesting this. Looks like I'm harvesting. Oh, now that's interesting because I can harvest them. Yeah, I don't have to necessarily pick up individual like gems. I can actually harvest them with the drill because I can harvest things with the drill, and stuff from my little harvesting activities goes into its inventory. And that's good, that I must admit. Can we reach that one? Yeah. This is so much better. Even though that thing isn't the one actually doing the harvesting, it's still making life a lot easier. I mean, its charge has gone down a fair bit, I must admit. But right, let's see. We'll just turn this one off then. So its weight's still going well. I mean, we've got quite a lot of metal, quite a lot of... I mean, this is... I think I'm doing a lot better than I would have done if I'd just been using, say, like the RG to carry things around. Now, dedicated storage item transfer. There's nothing close by at the moment. Yes, it says nothing is close by to be able to pull it off. So if we get onto that, you obviously must have to be in a certain... Now that's interesting, so it's actually walking on the actual asteroid. Because this is one thing I'm wondering is... Yes, I can actually get it back up. I was thinking straight. Maybe I can get it down to the actual asteroid, but I just can't get it back up again. So once it's off the asteroid, so this is a bit better, so it lands on the asteroid. Unlike the flyers, which seem to have some strange problem landing on them there. The dinos like this one at least will land. Now I'm wondering, I mean it doesn't have a, it said something about a harvest rig and I haven't seen one. Oh, you've got a new level. Right, well, I'll put that into your weight then. I mean, obviously this is a lower level one. A higher level one would be better, but yeah, I'll need to do a lot of missions to be able to pull that off. Just out of curiosity then, so if I do dedicated storage, nope, it says there requires harvester attachment. I mean, there's an extractor tool to do that. I'll have to go out and tame another one, see if I can find a one that's got the actual extraction tool and see if it means that. Because the rig... What did it say? It said it's the harvester attachment. This is actually not bad, I must admit. I'm quite liking this. But there is an actual... Oh no. I've got to be a bit careful because obviously we get to gravity and it's a case of no, I've fallen off. Right, so we're within range of dedicated storage, but it's not giving me any choices to upload from there. I mean, I can get this out. And that's all uploaded to there. So at least I'll be able to pull the metal from there. So I should have, what about over nearly 2,500 metal in there. $5,306. So I'm tempted to leave this beastie here. I mean, I want to find out about this dedicated storage bit, but all the same, I'm going to have a look and see if I can find. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to do the scanner. So a Stryder. So I think I might have already done that one. One of those. I'm going to have a look around and see if I can find another one that's got the actual harvesting tool. And well, it looks like I've found a one that's slightly higher level, but that looks like it's got the excavation tool. I mean, I know when I was looking at the last Tek Stryder, it mentioned a harvesting attachment, but we'll see. So yeah, there's nothing really on load here that I need, so I'll pop her into a cryopod. We'll see if we can tame that Tek Stryder there. Now that one's a level 25, so I should be able to get away with that one. Because I was having a look on the scanner. Now those ones, I think after that we're into level 50s. Well, 45, I think that might have been too high level, but at least these 25s seem alright. Let's double check. Yeah, so that's a 25. Right, so jump onto this one. Right, use Mutagel. Target the forward left leg. Oh, I missed it. That's a trouble with me moving at the same time. Okay, so I've now got to wait for this to... I'm going to have to wait until it moves. That's a trouble, it's a bit tricky. If you could reach... If I could have reached that at the time, it would have been a bit easier. Trying to move at the same time seems to be a bit tricky. You know, pressing the left mouse button and moving around. So, are you going to go somewhere different for a change? Right, I'm going to have to follow it around then. And I've got to stay pretty close to it. So, right, okay, so now I've got to wait for it to wander again. Ooh, I've got to go and hack the tail. Yay! Right, so I've successfully hacked this one. So that for me took 2 goes. I think the time was just spent. Wait, whoa, dude. Stay still. Where are you going? So this thing... Yeah, it took me 2 goes. It just kept wandering around and around. Now, it has got an excavation rig, so it says they can mine high value resources. Can be linked to a Tek dedicated box. So I think that's just a bit misleading. They mustn't have fixed the wording. So I look at the options here. That says, so now that's giving me a chance to link it to a nearby, but also to transfer items. Now, as far as I recall, that said it was a harvesting attachment that you needed. Okay, so then it's got this other, so that's the tool that it's got, an excavation rig I should say. Then it's got a phase cannon rig. So this can, oh, they can fire highly damaging plasma blasts. Okay, so you can target things. So if I left click, okay. Yowzers! So if you right click, it's just continuously harvesting resources. Stop! No, stop! That's enough. Jeez Louise! Look at the levels it's gained. Good grief! So if you had this combined with the actual like storage rig that you got with that other one I've got, this would be brutal. I mean, it's getting like lots and lots of levels because it's doing all this harvesting, and you can just pile that into things like the weight and what have you. So it obviously doesn't get the benefits of weight reduction. Jeez Louise, that's a ton of stuff that this thing's gathered. I mean, look at all this fibre. Gathered tons of stone, loads of... Righty, this is like a lot. This is a lot. I want to have a real absolute field day with this thing, I guess, in the in that sort of like that void where you've got the asteroids in. So in which case I'm going to have to I don't really need that many berries really. I've got enough. I haven't said that I could do with the narco berries. Keep the narco berries. Because what I can then do is I can turn the transmitter on. So while we're out here in the field, I can at least upload this stuff. Well, I've brought this Tek Stryder over to the asteroid area, and I've been having a bit of a play with it because I must admit it was starting to drive me up a wall. It wasn't working the way I was expecting it to, basically. So, I mean, we've got all this dedicated storage over there. Now, if I go to this, go to its options, dedicated storage, item transfer, there's nothing here. It's like, what? I've got all of these dedicated storage boxes. Well, this is no good. So, what I did then is I made one of these. So that's the vanilla Tek storage box. Now it needs, as you can see, it needs to be placed on the floor. So if I put that down, go back to this beastie over here. Let's try that again. Yeah, and that's a bit of a problem because, well, I'm using S Plus and Tek Stryder, well, it's using the vanilla dedicated storage, and the two are obviously different, so it doesn't work. So it's like, well, I mean, you can't give it a saddle. It's got a built-in rig. I mean, that was one of the key challenges with these things. You have to go out and get different ones. You can't like breed them, or you know, to try and mix it up to get what you want. It's like you've got to go out and get exactly what you want. That's just the way it works. So I thought, well, have a bit of a look around, and what there is this an S Plus dedicated storage interface. So it says it uploads the inventory of a dino to a dedicated storage. So you could put this on your actual dinos, which includes the Stryders. So if we get off this one here, get this, I'll put that down here if I can. Bit of a pain. Right, so what you've got choices are to you can activate it, you can set an upload list, and you can set a destroy list. So in other words, you can actually decide, you know, which items you essentially want to keep and put into dedicated storage, which ones to leave in the saddle or its saddle bags, and which ones to actually destroy, which is actually quite good for this asteroid when you think about it, because I'm going to be mining a lot of things. Now, I end up with tons and tons of stone, so I don't want the stone. I could actually tell it, I don't want stone. So destroy any stone that you get. So the way I understand it is that this Tek Stryder is going to go out and harvest things. This box is going to essentially transport them and do something with them, depending on what this list is. So it should, in theory, when it gathers stone, it should just destroy the stone. Now the upload list, what I'm interested in is things like metal, for example. Crystal's useful. Oil's useful. I don't know why I've got two types of oil, but I'll put those in there. There's Mutagel. Now the one thing I've found is there's nothing in here for ambergris, I've noticed. I would have liked to have been able to destroy ambergris because I end up with tons of that. Like, I don't like it. I don't need it, at least not now. So that's a bit of a pain. So if I go back to the Stryder, there's no option to link it. It's not there. So it must be, this thing just must be sitting somehow on the saddle and somehow interlinking, doing the transport. So I'm just going to check the time. So okay on time. Now this particular one that I've got, it's a bit tricky to maneuver because it's got the plasma cannon. Now what I've noticed is the plasma cannon is actually operated by the C key, and where I point it to is where it goes. Now the trouble is the C key is also the down key. So it's like, no. But fortunately, as long as I kind of like point it in a down direction, it'll go down. So that's not too bad. I can still press the space key to get it to float back up again. Like the other one, it'll land on the actual... actually, that's a thought I should tell it to do. Obsidian as well while I'm here. Now, one thing I've noticed is that this resource gathering will only work while it's actually got its feet on terra firma, so to speak. It just doesn't want to play ball if it's not, you know, if you're floating around in space, it doesn't like it. So I'm going to get off. Let's change that. So what about gems? So blue gems, green gems, red gems, obsidian. So see if this will work. So I need to activate it. And right. Nope, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Turn it off. Now, one thing I've found is, yeah, it's clearly deciding to go where it wants to. One thing I found is that when you use the right key, use the left key to basically, you know, trample and attack things. The right key you use to do the resource gathering. Now, what you do is you basically activate it, and then you just point the head in the direction where you want to harvest the resource. Notice how it's like it's saying items added, and then it's saying items removed. Now, I've noticed that that list isn't quite working. When I right click again, oh, it's taken a while, so there's obviously a delay. When I right click again, it then deactivates that. So if we go into here, there's nothing in here. And it'll be harvesting stone. Let's put that. The charge capacity on this thing goes down pretty fast, I must admit. Now, I'm not sure why I did that, given the fact that this stuff is going into dedicated storage anyway. I may as well put it in the charge, because you'll see the... And that's interesting because it's showing an over 2 meter. So is the O2 meter linked to the charge capacity? Is that it? Instead of where it's got O2 up here, does that actually mean the charge capacity, I wonder? But I'm just getting like a ton of... Are you too excited to move, are you? Yeah, I'm getting like a ton of resources. I mean, the interesting thing is the fact that this, because I'm, well, I don't know if it's because I'm just so close to the actual storage that it's automatically getting loaded. So it is remove, it says it removed the stone. I should have paid attention to how much is up there. So it must, yeah, it must be taking a while. So if we go to... we turn that off. Because at the minute it's stuck. So it's got all this stuff. And it's just stuck at the minute. So it's, I don't know, maybe it's just hit and miss. No, I didn't want to turn that off. Man, that's frustrating. Ah, so it's gone. It's all gone. Now, fingers crossed, that is actually up there. As I say, I should have really paid attention. So that's picking up a lot of gems. Metal, granite. This is just seriously cool. This is like, I mean, look at that, like we're not just gathering a bit, we're gathering an absolute butt ton of resources. This is, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, I must admit now. This has got to be like, to me, this is like the best sort of like dino. Let's just disable that, because I was pretty sure that this thing wouldn't move. Wouldn't use the... I mean, I said that. I thought it wasn't doing anything as long as I wasn't on terra firma, but that may not actually be the case. Okay, so it is actually working. Okay, I'll take it back. So there's obviously like an angle in which it's kind of like blind, and it can't, you know, if it can't see it, it's not... It's obviously a blind spot. So even though I can point in that direction, it can't presumably reach it. This is just brilliant. I mean, this is I wouldn't care. It's just a low level one though. I mean, I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to get like a seriously high level like Tek Stryder. But as long as it can keep like feeding back to the dedicated storage, this is just going to be like insane. Because I mean, these resources are recharging at a crazy rate. I mean, there is a bit of an incentive, I suppose, if you want to speed things up a bit. I mean, it's out of charge by the looks of it. Let's put that into charge. So I suppose like there is an incentive to get like a higher level one, because then you'll have the opportunity that, well, you'll get a lot more charge capacity. And every time you up the levels, I mean, the way these levels tend to work is that the higher the level, the higher the base level, the more points, because the amount of the amount that you get for every item that you've got here, every time you level it up, is based on a very small percentage, but obviously it's based on the base amount that you start with in the first place. It's one of the reasons why you do these mutations and what have you. But this is just crazy. One thing I found, actually, I've actually left the one up there. Because the plan was I was going to use that other one to follow this one around, but there's no point, because as long as I'm in close proximity, that dedicated storage, it's all going straight in there anyway. Which is just nuts. It's like, this is bonkers. I mean, I've only been here for like a few hours, because I started just shortly after like 4:30 when it started to get a bit brighter. But what I've done is I've left the other one up here, and I've actually put a battery into that one, because it's supposedly be able to charge batteries. So there's some things you have that require batteries. So if you can get your Tek Stryder to actually charge batteries for you. So it's still, for whatever reason, that hasn't budged. I think it's a feature. $64 million question is whether there's actually anything in the dedicated storage for metal. I'm pretty sure I cleared that out and transferred it all over to the industrial forge. So that one's got its charge back. So let's have a look. So have you charged the battery up? Yeah, it's managed to charge the battery up. Cool. So technically I don't really need that if I'm close to dedicated storage anyway. You don't necessarily need that rig. So what we got over here? Well, we've got close to almost 10,000 red gems, 48,286 metals. I definitely didn't have that. I can tell you that for certain. I'm pretty sure that was nothing before. Oh, holy smokes. So yeah, I certainly didn't have this amount of gems before. So we're 8738 stone. So the way I've got it set is that I've got just so much stone, I don't see any point in collecting anymore. So that's why I've got that option for the destroy list, and I do like that. It's just a pity it didn't have the ambergris one. Let's see how much of this we can pull across. Nope, don't want that one. Want that one. And transfer that. So that's just transferred close to 30,000 metal ingots across. Well, I've been playing around down there. Ah, foobar. Now I realise. Yeah, I thought it was transferring just the metal ingots. It doesn't. It's transferring the metal as well. I'll have to get a proper collector item to do the transfers. You can actually pull the metal ingots out of the forge and pop them into your dedicated storage. But even this thing, I mean, it's only level 25. I mean, I've had to get... I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you've got to do all of these levels, at least, you know, one type. So you've either got to do all of the gamma levels, for instance, if you want to take on Rockwell at gamma level. So there's quite a few of them there. So if you're going to be doing all of those, you could probably just get away with a low-level Tek Stryder. So as long as it's got that extractor tool on it there. So that's the, yeah, it's the excavation rig that it's got. As long as it's got that one, that's pretty much all you need if you've got, like, if you're at that level of dedicated storage. I mean, if you're going to be out and about in the field, it makes sense to have one that's got that, plus this one, which is the resource attractor rigs. So, like, if you combine those two together, if you can find a Tek Stryder like I did at the start that's got both of them, it's just, unfortunately, that's like level 145 and it needs like an absolute ton of it's like missions to be done. Get the two of them combined in one dino. That'll just be brilliant. So I think I'll keep an eye out, because I mean this one was level 15 when I got it. It's now up to level 29. This is level 25 when I got it, and it's now up to 77. And it's just going to get, you know, more and more levels as you keep doing that extraction. So that's got almost 12,000 XP. Whereas this one's got 360 XP. So that's the big difference of having that extractor or excavation rig, I think it's called, is it? The excavation rig. It makes a big difference. It's going to level it up a heck of a lot quicker as well. So yes, I definitely like these. I definitely like these. I should have sort of got these beasties sooner. So I think, where do we go from here? Well, I still need to get this base finished off. I mean, I've moved the tech transmitter out, so I definitely need to get this place built. But it's like, I think one of the shortages was the pearls, the silica pearls, or just silica. That was the hold up. So I mean, you could go out and start trying to find the pearls out there. But to be honest, I am seriously thinking of just going back to extinction, because I've got gachas on there, and I could actually bring some gachas over that'll actually just produce the silica for me. I mean, the plan was not to bring any utility dinos over, mainly because of doing these. That was the whole reason for getting these. But yeah, I mean, I could wander up and down the rivers with one of these, I suppose. But I don't know, those gachas just make life so much easier. So I think that's what we'll be doing next. But that's all for another episode.